I'm back, family, with part two. Let's go. So let me continue for you. After all the things that happened to me, the car accident, the betrayal I faced it from my friends, and the relationship I gained it back with my family. I was in Uganda, and I heard that my firstborn and my family brother is coming from Eritrea to Dubai for medication. So suddenly it happened. I was on my way to Dubai. He was coming to Dubai, so we ended up meeting in Dubai there. My sister lives there. We ended up living there. We went out. I understood that he's gonna yell at me. He's gonna argue with me about the things that I did in my life. He told me for like 2 hours straight. Nobody wants to be in that kind of position where you fucked up in your early life, but later on being yelled by your father, or they come in pressuring you, telling you what you did wrong, remembering what you had done before. It's very hard, but it's a way to grow up. It must happen in your life. Once you fucked up, you deserve whatever comes to you. Whatever comes to you, you have to know that this is all these things happen because you messed up, not because they like to pressure you or make fun of you or to argue with you, to criticize you for what you did in the past. But it happened. I tolerated because I deserved everything that's coming. So I prepared myself before I traveled. So I went there. The first week was tension, full of tension. Not all the time, but it was full of tension because my brother always reminded me what I did wrong. He was trying to correct me. That's it. He feared me going back to that life, but I already made up my brain. I was prepared for everything. I was ready. So from that, after the first week passed, the next week that came was a very great year. Everything was settled. I ended up contacting my brother. The one was in Angola, the one which I made fun of, which I said some bad things to him. So my heart was cleared. So and then I went back to my country. In the beginning, it was a very hard decision for me to go back to my country, but once I went there, I see that I can even live there too. May not be the way I used to live in Uganda. I don't have all the access I need, all the facilities that I need. There is no internet like there is, but you can only go to a Wi-Fi shop to get Wi-Fi, to get internet. You cannot buy bundles on your phone. You cannot buy data on your phone and use it, turn on the data and use it. You cannot do that. You can only go to Wi-Fi shop, and even though you go to Wi-Fi shop, the connection is very low, the network is very bad, so you end up living without even using. So I separated myself from the internet, from everything that reminded me of the life of my previous life. I only focused on my work. We were shipping containers from Dubai full of foodstuffs, biscuits, anything that food supply, everybody, food supply. That's the food supply. We were shipping, and the first year everything was going okay. Most of the containers that were being shifted was my father. They were being okay, but slowly that work started to fade because everybody started joining. Everybody started. Before it was only for people who had a good amount of money, but later on, even 4 or 5 people started to ship the container by themselves. Because they shared the money between 5 people or 10 people, they ended up bringing containers. So it's like that. It was flooded. The area was flooded with the food stuff, and the market became very low. Everything, the profit we used to get no longer existed. There was no profit in them. There was no profit in the items that we were selling. We were not getting profits. My father ended up shipping for me to containers. I didn't get any profit from them, even though I still have my capital money went back to me. I didn't lose anything, but his money, but there was no profit. So I decided. So when I decided to leave the country, my brother over there, who I told you that had accident before when he was like 13 years old, his left legs got amputated through the bomb blast. He stepped on a mine, so it ended up taking his left leg, damaged his left hand, damaged both of his eyes, his face. He can still see, he can still talk normally, he can still hear. His hearing is the way it was, nothing happened. Even his eyes. He went to some other country overseas, he did medication, he bought a new leg, the automatic leg, he bought a new one, and he did a surgery for his eye. Even though it was not a very good result, but he's still slightly better than the original ones. Now, this medication he did he did it like last year, 2025. But when I decided to leave that country, it was 2023. I decided to go to Angola. the country that I'm in right now. My brother came to me, the one who I told you about, the one who had all this kind of problems, the one who stepped on mine. He told me I needed to stay here. I cannot let you go because my most trusted employee has been taken by the military. Eritrean army has taken him away, so I don't have anybody who can stay who can help me. We are, it's only me and another employee, but my most trusted employee is not there. He had two employees. One was not fully trusted, the other one was fully trusted. He wanted his brother to be with him. So he offered me a good amount of money, and I could still have made more money than that in Angola, even the same one, but I would have lived a comfortable life in Angola. In Eritrea, life is not comfortable, even though I had everything in my family, with a good, rich family. I had everything I need, but so there are a lot of things I would not say here, but I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna keep going my story. When he said that to me, I decided I was helping my brother, so I was like, "Wait, no problem, I will." I ended up remaining in Eritrea for 2 years and a half. You see, after 1 year and a half, his most trusted employee came up, and by that time we have opened another shop, the shop which I was managing. The first year was very low, the work was very low, the income was very low, the sales were very low. But later on, after a year, it started getting its own customers. It started getting a lot of people to buy in. It started getting a lot of customers, even natural customers who are not our daily customers, natural. So the shop became already started competing with with our number one shop out there, because the number one shop have been there for 20 years, so it's already has a loyal customers for 18 to 20 years. So we started competing with them. So we built it up. I was all alone though. I lost a lot of items which I was supposed to cover my own. So they were my own loss. I covered them from my own pocket. But later on, they brought for me an employee. She was a female. So we ended up dealing very well, and so we ended up linking up very well. Became like brother and sister. And after she came after 6 months, I went to Dubai to my mom took my medication. I told you to remove the metal that was in my inside my leg. I went to Dubai, but I wanted to cover all the money. But when I went to Dubai, the expense was too much. They asked me for 12,000 dirhams, probably like $3,000. Was it 3,000? Yeah, 3,000 or like 2,900. It was like from the range of 2,800 to 3,500. So it was too much for me to cover because I didn't have that much money. So I ended up leaving Dubai, going back to my country, and to do it in my country. I went to the private hospital in my country, and I contacted with a doctor. He told me that he can do it, but first of all, the metal inside my leg is hard to remove because it needs a special equipment to remove. He told me that the procedure of this kind of medication has stopped in 2012 in Eritrea. So he ended up bringing that equipment from a different hospital. He told me, he gave me he gave me an appointment on Sunday to come to the hospital. So I was going for medication on Monday. So I went in there on Sunday. I did everything on Sunday. They checked me. They made me sign that they are not to be questioned if something happened to me during the operation. I signed it. I stayed in my room. Later on, the big day came. They told me to come out. They gave me a robe to wear, the robe that you wear when you are going to operation room. They laid me in the bed. They injected me with a syringe containing paralyzing anything that can paralyze you. You won't feel anything. They paralyzed me from my waist down, from like let's say from down part of from the little upper of my private parts. They paralyzed me from my stomach to the down, from my belly. So I was not feeling anything. It's still I can feel him moving my leg, this and that, but there was no pain. So they ended up removing it. It took for them 4 hours because the metal was very hard to remove. And finally, the operation was done in a very good way, even though it took a long time. It was hard to remove it. They ended up removing it. They took me to my room. They kept me they didn't paralyze me. They gave me painkillers. Everything was okay. Everything was all right. And after 1 week, they discharged me from the hospital. I went back home. After 2 months, I was fully recovered. Everything was recovered. I went back to work. As I told you, I went back to work, started working there. Finally, I decided to take another step in my life. The time was up to leave the country, my country, to come back to Angola, the country that I'm in right now. So I decided. I made my mind. I stayed there. I stayed home until they get a replacement for me, someone who can replace my place, my boy, and they brought a girl, which I stayed there for 1 month until they until she gets enough experience. I give her enough experience that she needs, and ended up leaving. Went to Dubai. I stayed for Dubai for 3 weeks until I get the Angolan visa, because it's very hard to get Angolan visa. It's not easy for any person nowadays. It's not easy. Probably it could be easy for an American, Canadian, anyone with a Canadian, American, or overseas country passport, overseas countries. It's easier, but for someone with African people, you have to get. It takes long time. So you need someone who inside Angola who has a shop or a business. He can say that I will bring him as an employee. I will be I will cover all of his expense. That's so. It was hard, but I realized that what God did for me was, in that moment, I realized that him making me face all the correction that I faced, maybe going back to my country, made me a stronger person. He made me wiser, stronger. He made me back to the Eritrea. He brought me back to Eritrea to help me to get mature. I ended up being mature. I left Eritrea when I was 27 years old. I'm not 17 years old anymore. The mindset is different. I lived into the same kind of circumstances when I was there. I lived the way I left my country looked the same like when I first left my country 10 years ago. Everything that happened, that was how it happened around me, reminded me when I first left my country. So I ended up having parties, goodbye party. I didn't. So they threw a party for me, a little party. We went to in a club. We ate food, we drank, and we did what we had to do. And the next day, I did my party. I took my personal friends, close friends, for dinner. We ended up having dinner, and we went home. So when I went to Dubai, I was sitting alone in my hotel room. I remembered everything that happened to me. Like, I was like, yes, God took me back to my country to make me a mature person, to help me grow up again, to make me leave Eritrea with a purpose in my brain. When my first time I left was, I only left because other people were leaving. But when I left again, I knew that there's a big purpose inside my brain. Time to be serious, lively. There's a lot of things I need to do in my life. So, and I ended up leaving. So I'm in Angola, working. Thank God I'm working. I'm in a very good health right now. I'm doing my thing. This is what God showed me, that He put me through a lot of bad situations, but it was for me. He was disciplining me. He was making me a stronger person, the person that I was. All the bad things that I went through, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the anger, the frustration, me crying alone, nobody see me crying, the anger I was facing, all the things that happened to me in my life taught me what to prioritize. I prioritized my God first, later on my family, because family comes first. I understood that family comes first after the journey that I had in my life, my wild journey. I didn't tell you the whole detail. If I told you the whole detail, even 100 parts of this video would not be enough, because a lot of things happened to me. So I'm just giving you. I'm back, family. It was part 2. Let's